Hello, in this video we are showcasing you in this video I showcase you how to use ShareLatex and our report format for this particular class. As usual, you go to our web page, you go to our class web page. In here you can find the term paper and project report a link. Here's a zip file that you can download, or a Taji zip file, depending on which machine you have. You may choose the one or the other. Let's use the zip format. It downloads it into my repository in my download folder directory that contains all the files. So no problem here. So technically I can actually write this here locally if I have a local install, but let's find out how we can use ShareLatex. Move this window a little bit out of the way. So I'm typing in now ShareLatex. So I search for ShareLatex. You're going into ShareLatex and you have hopefully created an account in which you can log in. So the next thing is I have many projects here. You will probably have an empty thing here. So let's now just create a new project. I create a new project. Maybe I name this i523-paper1. I create this. Now I have created a new project that comes with a precompiled template. We can test out this template just to see how this works. We have here the LaTeX file that's going to be compiled, and here we see it. However, what we would really want to do is we want to move our files that we have here from this repository into our ShareLatex repository. So here you can see the files. What I do is here's an upload feature. I go in the upload. It says to me drag and drop the files in there. So I drag and drop my files that I would like to have in there just for good measure. So I have to drag the report in there. I have to also upload another file. So you can see it's uploaded. I upload the bibliography file in there. I upload the ACM CLS file in that also. So let's upload that one. Now I have everything. Since I don't want to have this main document, I just delete it. So now if I click on this LaTeX document, it is in here. So this is my document that I have now uploaded. This is a fairly large document. So let me just simplify this document somewhat. Let's delete everything here from the body of the paper to just above the UX section. So now it's much smaller. As you can see now, we have an introduction that is here. We have something in here. Only thing that I actually do need is I need to have a citation. As for the citations, let's remove all the citations that we have in here, but one. Let's just take the first one. We just remove every one of these things. Now this is my citation. Also, I like typically to have the citation keys all lowercase. That makes it much easier for me to remember. Now I go back and into my document and simply say cite and then the reference that we have here. And now let's see what happens when we recompile this. Now we have recompiled the paper. Now, as you can see, is I may want to have a change just to see if this works. And this is just like filling out the form. So here you have maybe the title, and I, for example, say here, so this is my big data paper, or not paper, not my big data paper, big data and edge computing. If I recompile it, you will see, and as you can see here, it's being updated. If I want to add new sections, let's assume I want to add a new conclusion section. Naturally, we don't have all these acknowledgements in here. Let's just copy the section here, the section command, and then conclusion. I'll say I like. So now we do this, we recompile, and as you can see, this is if I blow this up here a little bit, I see this particular text being included. Maybe I need to have a dot at the end, so I recompile again. So it's just like filling out a form. It can be easier for you to create a high quality report. Now, the good news is you don't have to upload the PDF to your GitHub repository. So let's now just go ahead and figure out how do I actually upload this to my HID. So let's find our repository. So where do we find it? piazza.com. In piazza.com we have the resources. In resources, naturally I need to be in the right class, which is the form class. In resources we have the big data repository, and here you need to be now finding a repository where you want to upload your paper to. My paper is my repository is sample. Yours will start with HID. I go to my paper1 directory. If I don't have a paper1 directory yet, you can easily create it as follows. Here is create new file. Let's just do this with paper2. So paper2, and then type in a slash, and then the name of a file that doesn't exist in there. That may be, for example, a readme, me.md. This is a different readme than the readme in the main directory. And then I just go ahead and simply commit the file on the bottom. And here is my new directory with paper2. However, so now let's assume I'm working on paper2 here. So what will happen is you will be having to upload all these files that you have downloaded into this repository. How do I do this? There's an uploads file in here, and drag here the files that you would like to add to the repository. So what I do is I drag this file, I drag the format file, I drag the bib file and the report file. But remember, these are the files that come with the default template, so I will have to do some update. So I do also the make file. So now all of these things I want to upload, and I commit my changes. However, now I want to override my report.tag file and my report.bib file with the ones that I've actually used in ShareLatex. So I go back to my paper2, I see that these are all in there. So what I now need to do is I need to go back to ShareLatex. Maybe what we want to do is rename this here to paper2, just to be consistent. Now I go in here. In here I see now the file. I can now go ahead and download this file. Download the source. A zip file will be created with my content. I go to the zip file. In here you can see there are all my sources in there. And now I go back to my GitHub repository. Now what I need to do is upload files. Here I upload now the files that I've actually downloaded from my repository, as ACM art is the same, but I've modified bib and tag. I can just go ahead and add these two files, and they're being uploaded and changed now in my repository. For good measures, I should be double checking if that's really the case. So I go to my report file, see there's only one reference. I go to my tag file. Remember, I deleted a lot of stuff so that I can showcase that I upload this here. I like LaTeX in there. That's done. That's all you have to do. And remember that you also need to be updating your readme.md. And in the readme.md, when you edit this, be careful, because the editor will be introducing tabs. I will show you this here. When I do next, there's a tab introduced, so you need to be using your characters all the way back, and then you type in 3 characters and you say chapter, and then which chapter you need to be contributing your paper to, in our case to be determined. And since I worked on paper number 2, I should probably do this also in paper number 2, chapter to be determined, because I don't know yet my title, but you can look up the titles in the current proceedings. Is already published. And status, I do now, for example, 10% finished, and here paper 1, I do this also just to give you a different perspective here. So as you can see, this is really simple, and make sure that you don't introduce other characters in here and keep the quotes in place, because it's easier for us to parse, and it looks also much better. So these are actually for looks rather than for real purpose. So we can commit this, and here you can see our commit, and that's all you need to do in order to submit your paper. We expect that you change the status to 100% and have a chapter defined by the time you are defining this. And naturally, sample, you will not have sample here. That needs to be deleted because you only have an HID, and with the HID, I see many students are doing this wrong. Just remove the sample. And then this other thing, this is my paper about, should not be belonging to the title. You should be defining a real paper title. In my case, it was Big Data and Edge Computing, so I should have changed this to Big Data and Edge Computing. Thank you very much. This explains how you use ShareLaTeX.